Hello friends, my name is Richard Garay and I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up! In this video demonstration, I will show you how to make a 3x3 mini book using one sheet of 12x12 cardstock. If you're ready, let's get started. Alright you guys, let's get started. So the first thing we need is our paper trimmer. We're going to remove the cutting blade for now. And my original piece has a black 12x12, but because our tablecloth is black, I'm going to use a craft sheet of 12x12 just for the demonstration purposes. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our paper trimmer. We're going to score this at 3 inches, 6 inches, and 9 inches. So 3, 6, and 9. Remember that because you're going to turn your cardstock around, and you're going to score again at on the same length. 3, 6, and 9. So we score at 3, 6, and 9. Alright, so now we remove our scoring blade. We're going to add our cutter. And using what we've already scored, we're going to cut now. We're going to use our cutter to cut at the last mark all the way up to the 9-inch mark, leaving that flap without cut. We're going to skip the center without being cut, I should say. And we're going to cut this one the same way from the bottom up all the way up to 9. So now we've got the two ends cut up to the 9-inch mark where we scored. So now we're going to go to the center, which is at 6 inches, and we're going to cut the opposite way. So from the top, we're going to cut all the way to 9 the other way. So we should have a piece that connects all the way through like a ladder. Alright, so this is actually the basis of our mini book. What we then do is we start folding all our scores. And once you start folding your scores will tell you exactly where you need to go. So don't worry about which direction your cardstock should be going, because your scores will tell you. So grab your bone folder and just make sure you have nice crisp edges on all 4 sides of that. Alright, so this is the basic of your book. So all you have to make sure now is that your book opens that your mini book is flapping like a book like this. Okay, the next thing, I've already pre-done one. What you do is you're going to adhere all the sheets together, which is what I've already done with my basic black sheet of cardstock, and it's time to cover this up and make it into a little book. So using 2 sheets of 4x4 pre-cut piece of designer paper, and this is from the Bella Rose Cards paper, designer paper. And I have 2 3x3 pieces of chipboard. I'm just going to add some mono adhesive to this. Add it to the designer paper. Of course, the side that I want to show will be in the front. And with my paper snips, I'm going to trim off the edges so that when I fold my paper in, I don't have that extra piece of cardstock. So we'll add some mono adhesive to all 4 sides. You can add some sticky strip also if you want it to have a more secure fastening. So we'll put these together like that. So now we've got one cover. We're going to add some mono adhesive to this as well and adhere it to the center. So this will be either the front or the back. Same thing, we're going to snip off the 4 corners. Okay, so let's clear that up. And again, we'll add some mono adhesive to the 4 sides so that we can then fold our designer paper in to hug the chipboard, and that'll be the cover of our mini book. So now we've got 2 pieces of designer paper, or 2 pieces of chipboard that have been covered by designer paper. Okay. So now it's time to do some embellishments that are going to go on the front. But before we do that, we are going to add some sticky strip to the front and back flap of this mini book. that's what's going to adhere our chipboard to our cardstock. I always like to add another piece there in the center. And we're going to do the same thing on both sides, front and back. At this point, if you wanted to add any brads or eyelets to your chipboard prior to adhering it to your cardstock, you can. And you would do that prior to adhering it. But for this case, in this case, I'm not. The finished product, I'll show you what I did do, and then you'll get to see it better. Alright, so here we go. We remove the red film, and you could then measure to make sure you've got enough left over so that you can close your mini book. And we're going to add it to this sticky strip here, that way it seals it down. So then we're going to grab our piece of designer paper or chipboard that already has the designer paper, and we're just going to lay that right on top of there. Okay, so now we've got the back of our book. Now it's time to do the front. So again, we remove the red film. We'll bring our ribbon back down to match the center of our other ribbon, and we're going to add our covered chipboard, our covered in designer paper chipboard. Okay, so here we go. So now we've got the front and back of our book, with front cover and back cover, and it's ready to embellish. So we're going to give this a quick little knot so that we can add some embellishments. And for the embellishments, I'm using one of Stampin' Up's new die cuts, which are the butterflies, which is this guy here. You can't really see the images, but the butterflies turn out really nice. And what I've done is I've pre-cut some designer paper, and I've adhered it to basic black cardstock because it's going to be part of my embellishment. I want it to have a little bit of consistency, so I didn't want it to just be thin cardstock or thin designer paper. So let me grab my pieces to make the sandwich. So again, we've got our piece here at the bottom. We have our die, and we're going to add our desired piece of cardstock to that. Make our sandwich and just run it through the Big Shot. So because they were already done together, you've got both the front and the back. And here we go. So let me move this out of the way. Okay, so this is one that I'm going to use for a different book, but I wanted to show you, I did have one pre-done in a different sheet out of that same designer paper, Bella Rose, as well as I did a circle out of the Circles No. 2 die. I pre-cut it out of Pink Pirouette, and I pre-glittered it. So now he's ready to add to my mini book as an embellishment here. And so I've got one done in the Bella Rose paper, and I did add a little bit of chunky glitter to the center of this as he's part of my embellishment to give the butterfly some dimension. At this point, you can stamp on it. You can add whatever grading you want to your mini book, and I'm using the It's Time to Bloom, and I'm just going to stamp them right on the top here. So we've got It's Time to Bloom right on there. So it's a really quick and easy mini book. Let me show you the one that I've done earlier, which was done with the same designer paper, some Kiwi Kiss with the polka dots in the back. And this one I've actually already added some of the sheets to. So again, Kiwi Kiss and some more of those pre-die cut butterflies. I left one side blank for my photo, and I did stamp some of the blooms in the background there. Alright, so thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.